Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody? How are you? So if you can just say hello so we know that you are here. We're not talking on our own. So I see nobody yet.
My love, you know what is the advantage? They can see us, they can hear us, but we can't see them and we cannot hear them.
Yes. So I wanted just to say for those who don't know us, because there is some new members, my name is Clementine Tsvetanov.
My name is Krasimir Tsvetanov.
And we are the organizer for Insight Seminar in Cyprus and the Global Morning Community. So first of all, we want to acknowledge you, all of you, to take these steps towards your dreams, to take control of your life, and to come to this group morning community. So congratulations first and welcome to this global morning community. And Myla, what don't you say about why we create this morning community?
I was not prepared for this. I thought you were prepared for this.
Okay, so one of the reasons that we decided to do another next morning community is because some of you, I mean most of us, we are now going out of the lockdown. I can hear something, and it's like we're going back to our normal life, but it's not really normal yet, and there is a lot of challenges. It's like when you are in a fog and you don't know what's behind. So it's going to be very important for us to really pay attention of our focus. And that's why during this morning community, you will have the occasion to train and to maintain your focus, to build up confidence and to heal yourself also.
You know, yesterday I've been to one client and I asked him, how are you doing? And he said, you see, back to the normal. I said, man, it's not back to the normal. He was with the gloves and he was with the mask. So it's not going to be normal as we used to be and we used to see from before.
So we decided then to create this program to help for this transition and for us to raise our vibration, to raise our energy, to wake up every morning with positivity.
How many of you, after the corona, after the lockdown finished, went back to the normal? How many of you were thinking, okay, now it's going to be the same like it used to be before? We have many good mornings.
Yes.
Happy summer. By the way, today is the 1st of June, the Day of the Child. And this also is connected with our week, because our week is I am enough. And I am enough actually starts from our childhood, when we are children.
Yes, I just wanted, before we start with this, I just wanted to remind you maybe a little bit about the structure so you know. So it's going to be from Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock. You're going to come with us on live. And then we're going to have every past week, every Monday evening. So not tonight, the week after. On Monday evening, you're going to have also a practical session on how to implement the tools. On Saturday, the sessions start at 9 o'clock with Mira. Then we're going to have our mastermind at 10 o'clock. So this is the opportunity for you to share your experience, to share your struggles. And if you need any help, you can ask for help at that time also. And we're going also to have exclusive guests, right, my love?
Oh, yes.
So on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock, every week we're going to have exclusive guests such as Peter Sage, Mark Anastasi, Pavlina Papaluka, and Alan also with Tony Robbins coach. So great opportunity lying in front.
What we encourage you for the Wednesday evenings to prepare your questions, and because we're gonna have these guests only once and they're very valuable, and please take the advantage of this and ask the questions which they're going to answer to you, the questions which you really want to find the answer.
So we hope that you got a pen of paper because now we will be talking with Dr. Barbara Schwarck, and she will be talking today about the cornerstone for living an amazing life. And I just want to say a few words about Barbara because some of you already met her before. She was in our previous morning community, but some of you are new. So Dr. Barbara Schwarck is the CEO of Clear Intention International, and she developed her own neuroscience coaching tools called Neuro-Emotional Coaching, and she's also the author of From Intuition to Entrepreneurship. So I will now bring Barbara
on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
We are well. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's really such a pleasure to be part of the this morning community, and I want to thank Casimir and Clementine for bringing us all together. I see that we have people from all over the globe that are listening, participating, and it's super exciting because it really lets us know that we're one, that we're all connected, and that we are, that we are doing this journey called life together. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us. If you're, by the way, if you are doing the watching us later, it would be great if you hashtag replay so that we can get a sense of how many people are watching the community. So today we're going to talk about feeling worthy, the cornerstone for an amazing life. And I picked this topic because in this first week we're going to talk about, more like the emotions. We're going to talk about being enough and looking at the deeper parts of ourselves, because we feel that it's important that we take this approach of kind of taking inventory and looking at how do we feel, and so that we can build it from there. So Casimir just said something super important. A lot of what our life is all about is connected to our feelings of worthiness and our beliefs. And a lot of those beliefs are really being shaped in our childhood. And, oftentimes they're so early that we have a difficult time accessing them because, language is not something, or cognitive thought is not something that's necessarily available to, babies, infants, young children. So it's important that we find out how we can get in touch with what we believe about ourselves and how we feel. So we're going to start with worthiness. And worthiness is really a catch-all phrase for basically your self-esteem, um, being good enough, and all those nuances that have to do with the self-esteem. And if you really take a moment to look at this, you will see that this worthiness issue is reflected in every area of your life. If you don't feel good enough, if you don't feel worthy of having the love of your life in your life, guess what? You're not going to have that love of your life. If you're feeling unworthy of making money, then that's going to be reflected in your career. Maybe you will struggle, or maybe you always have to please your boss because you don't feel good enough. Worthiness can be reflected in your family life. If there's a lack of feeling good enough, maybe your overall relationship, your relationship with your parents suffer. Maybe you feel like a victim because it's like, I can never get it right, no matter how hard I try. I'm just not good enough. So in my world, when I look at worthiness, it's really a reflection of what I have, who I am, what I do, and who I be in my life. Is in direct relationship to how worthy I feel. So if I want to have more or be more or feel differently in my life, I really want to take a look at my worthiness and see how I can bring this up. This month is all going to be about people telling you and giving you different tools to basically improve your worthiness. We're going to, look at this in uh, from different points of views, and different coaches are going to have different approaches. But basically, it's all about, if I can feel differently about myself, and I can believe that I'm worthy, that I'm good, I deserve, I'm smart, I'm good, all those things, then that will reflect be reflected in my life, and I will attract those things that I want because I am in the center of it. So I wanted to give everybody a basic overview of the brain because I feel it's important for us to understand how does this actually work, because it's not like you wake up one day and you feel unworthy. There's actually things that happened, and there's way that we process those. So I'm going to just give this basic overview of the brain. I've done this before. I like doing it because for me, when I heard it the first time, it was like, wow, this is an amazing, eye-opening experience. So basically, we have three parts of the brain, and the brain controls everything about us. It manifests our feelings, because they're biochemical chain reactions. It gives us the language. It decides why you woke up this morning and why you put on this black t-shirt, or why did you comb your hair, or why did you hug your child. Everything that happens to us, muscle movement, being able to sleep, not being able to sleep, everything is controlled and by the brain. Okay, so basically we have these three parts, and the first part is the neocortex, and the neocortex is the smart part of the brain. It's the part of the brain where all language, words, anything that has to do with analytics comes from. Okay, so, and when we have a goal, or when we manifest in life, and when we have a vision, there's always words associated with it. So I need the neocortex, because the neocortex is going to help me put some sort of meaning to it. Okay, some words, some pictures. The neocortex is the only part of your brain that is actually conscious, meaning you can control it. Okay, controlling meaning you're supposedly able to control what comes into your brain, your thoughts, and what comes out of your mouth. It's kind of hard, as you've noticed, that it's not so easy to control your speech, and it's not so easy to control your thoughts. But supposedly we can do it. And then everything that comes after that is subconscious and unconscious. So we have the limbic system, and the limbic system is the part of your brain where all your emotions are being created. It's a chemical, physiological chain reaction. Okay, so the feeling of unworthiness, the feeling of love, it's all biochemically, created inside you. Okay, it's not like the radio comes on and boom, there's the feeling of love, or you feel unworthy. It's actually a chain reaction. You can't do anything about that. Okay, so we have really no control over our feelings because they're automatically created. Our limbic system is actually hardwired into our eye. Okay, so we see something and then immediately we feel something because those two are connected. What we can control is what we do with that. Okay, so we want to differentiate between the two areas of I'm having a feeling and then I am doing something. When I can actually control myself and direct myself, uh, even though I'm feeling something that might not be positive, it's actually a place of being a powerful leader in your life. So, and then we have the last part of the brain, which is the most dominant part of the brain. It is the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is the fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, this is the part of the brain that when we sense danger, okay, it will react, and it will have you do things that you normally wouldn't do. Meaning, if you're deathly afraid of the water, you're going to jump in. If your child is in the water, it's going to have you do strange things when you're under stress, such as Corona. A lot of this period for many people was all about, this reptilian brain being very activated because being in lockdown, not being able to have control, having your children at home, maybe losing your job, maybe losing a loved one. It's very stressful. So the reptilian, is a sensing that it might be dangerous. Something might be going on that we can't handle. So those three parts of the brain really make up uh, how we function, how we process information, and how we manage ourselves forward into the world. Now, the limbic system, the way the emotions are being created is little bit like a record. So at some point, something happened in your life. You interpreted it in a certain way. Your limbic system decided to produce these kind of emotions, and then it's kind of like plays the same record over and over and over again. And until we heal it, or until we pay attention to it, like we're doing right now with this morning community, it's kind of stuck. So an example of that would be, let's say I was 5 years old, and I was riding a bicycle, and I had a bicycle accident, and the bicycle was red. Okay, and maybe I got hurt a little bit, and maybe it wasn't even so traumatic, but in my mind, I am associating this unpleasant time with the color red. And later in life, I don't really understand why I don't like red. I just don't like red. And because it's sort of stuck in my subconscious and my unconscious that I had this experience, I can't really connect those two. Once I connect those two, I actually have a pretty good chance of being able to neutralize this experience from my brain biochemically, and then I can say, oh, I like this. I like this red. It's actually a pretty color. So a lot of those experiences that happened to us as a child manifested in some sort of beliefs or statements. And it's not really, I mean, of course, some of you and some of us have overcome some significant trauma, but it's not always about the trauma. It could be simply that I came home and I was very excited because I learned how to draw, and I drew all over the wallpaper in our living room. And my mom, was stressed with three little kids, says, Barbara, I can't believe that you did that. And right then and there, I formed perhaps a belief of I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be creative. And what I did isn't good because mommy isn't pleased and mommy is upset with me. And as a child, I can't differentiate. So we all have these experiences in our life, and some of them led to feelings of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, you get my point. I want to give you a few other things about the brain, and then I want to give you some homework on what to actually do with that. Another important researcher that looked at behavior is Pavlov. And you probably remember, or perhaps you heard of Pavlov. Pavlov is the guy that did this experiment with the dogs. And what he did, he had a bunch of dogs and he conditioned them to salivate. And the way he did it is that he rang a bell, and when he rang the bell, he brought the dogs some food, and the dogs were salivating, and then they had their food. And eventually, he would have bigger and bigger gaps between ringing the bell and bringing the dogs some food. And at the final stage of experiment, he just rang the bell and the dogs were salivating. Okay, so he had conditioned a response of where the ringing of the bell would salivate and it would continue for a long period of time. Now, what they don't tell you about the experiment is that after a while, the response, the conditioned response, became extinct, meaning that it went away. Okay. However, the response only went away in healthy dogs. And dogs that had been abused or they had been, through some kind of trauma, they continued to have the same response. So, what does that say about human beings? What that says about human beings is that it's not always so easy for us to change a conditioned response based on our history. So if I have been traumatized or I have something that happened to me, and because of that, I have a particular conditioned response because I think this conditioned response keeps me safe. And I'm talking about, the obvious ones are, overeating, over drinking, smoking, doing any forms of drugs, over sexing and Netflixing, you can name it, working, some of them are a little bit more acceptable than others. So, those are behaviors that we conditioned ourselves to do because they were in replacement of something else. So here we are, we're in the morning community, and we say to ourselves, hey, I want something different in my life. And so the first thing I have to do is I have to look at these behaviors, and I have to take a little bit of an inventory of, who am I, and where are my blocks? Where are my levels of self-esteem? Where do I feel good about myself? Where is there something that I need to heal? Where am I still holding on to the past? Where am I lacking vision? Uh, so our your first task will really be to do inventory and to take a look at some of the more unpleasant emotions. And I know this is not easy. And I know that this is why we have these behaviors that we work all the time, or we want to watch Netflix or drink or go to the beach or lay in the sun. I know that. But I'm encouraging you, I'm challenging you to actually take a look and maybe identify one or two or maybe even three areas where you say, where how I feel or where I would be is not the where I am right now. And I would like you to perhaps write about it, uh, or have a conversation with a friend about it, maybe somebody else that's in the morning community. It's super, 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 super effective when we actually take these exercises and talk with other people about it or work them with other people. uh, Definitely you could write about it, and so that you get some information. And when you find yourself coming up to a place where it's a little bit painful, it's like, say to yourself, I can handle it. I want to see what's there for me. I want to know what's underneath, because I know when I change my feeling of unworthiness, I know, and everybody, all the coaches and everybody who's done this work will tell you this: when you feel worthy, everything is available to you. Things will come to you. The universe will support you. So, what we want to do first is we want to look at, where do I feel unworthy? Like, where do I feel like I'm not good enough? Where do I feel like I need to raise my self-esteem? How does that show up in my life? So this will be the task that I want you to take on today, and I know that you can do it. And let me just stop here and see if there are any questions or anything else that some of you want to have me elaborate on a little bit.
I have a question to you.
Please.
So I don't know about the other people, but most probably some people, they say, okay, as you know, we are not aware of some things we do. And I'm not aware why I'm watching Netflix all day. I say, I just love it, How to get and to see that these things, they're like not serving us. How to get to the core and to see.
So I think I probably would disagree with you a little bit, because a lot of people watch Netflix and they feel guilty about it. Okay, so when you find yourself feeling a little guilty, or you find yourself having any kind of judgments about yourself, about your behavior, that is a starting point to saying, I don't really feel totally okay with watching Netflix all the time. I I feel like I have a little bit of judgment, or I feel a little bit of guilt. Okay, why do I feel guilty? Where's the judgment coming from? And so that could be a point of entry for yourself to take a look and say, oh, something is a little off for me. And at the same time, if you're watching Netflix and you're doing things and you're not being able to move the rest of your life forward, there's a discrepancy. So if you're telling me, I want to make $1 million, okay, but I'm spending time watching Netflix all day long, then I say, okay, so you have conflicting goals going on. But most people, I've not found a lot of people that say, I love watching Netflix all day long and I'm totally okay with it. And if you are, and if that's what you want from your life and you're completely happy with it, then that's okay, because it's about what you want in your life.
There's one question now. Even if we see the things that are not serving us, how do we change them?
Okay, so this is the question that we're going to be answering in many, many different ways for 30 days. Okay. So first of all, you have to make a commitment. You have to make a commitment that you want to actually change. And that's a big commitment, because anybody who's ever quit smoking or ever quit a habit, they know it's an undertaking. And the first thing is to find out why you're doing it in the first place. Maybe that's my German, upbringing, that I say, okay, let's get some information. Why do I have this habit? What is it serving me? And you can say, it's not serving me to smoke. Well, it is serving you. What is it serving? Okay, why is it why did you put it in motion? And so I'm telling you, get some information about it, because that information is going to help you actually change it. Over the next 30 days, we are going to give you ways to change your behavior. Okay, there's going to be many different ways. We're going to talk about affirmations. We're going to talk about goal setting. We're going to talk about we're going to do some regression. We're probably going to do some, I'm going to do some muscle testing and helping you to rewire yourself. There's going to be a lot of different tools for you. And some of these morning programs, you probably want to watch them over and over, because it's like you want to get those tips. The first thing is to look at, what are my behaviors? What am I doing that is not serving me anymore? And what are my secondary benefits? I don't know if you heard this. Secondary benefit. Like, what am I trying to stuff away? What am I trying to feel away? And get in touch with those feelings. Bring them up. Allow yourself to get a little bit uncomfortable. And in English, we say, don't shoot the messenger. Okay. When we shoot the messenger is when we have these behaviors that mask all those uncomfortable things. Find out, where's your unworthiness? Um, what is it? Maybe you can get some information of where's this coming from. Okay. And if it really is getting to a place of where you really feel like it's intense and it's difficult, move into forgiveness. Uh, give yourself an opportunity to appreciate yourself, have gratitude for yourself, be kind to yourself, clap yourself on and say, yes, I'm in this morning community and I'm making a difference in my life. And I'm forgiving my judgments, and I'm appreciating myself, and I'm having gratitude, and I'm taking the first step.
That's great.
Thank you, Barbara. So it's going to be important also to have a look about the beliefs, right? We have behind. That's what you mean also.
It's very important, because the beliefs are who you are, what you do, and who you want to be. Okay. So if I believe that I'm unworthy, then I'm going to be, do, or have whatever I have in my life. And it's very important that you pay attention to what you listen to. I was listening to the radio the other day, and if you listen to those love songs, the love songs are all about, I'm not good enough. He left me for another woman. There's a lot of this kind of music that is
Yes.
it's about victims. It's about, I'm not good enough, he's too good for me, and I'm going to get you back, and I'm going to hurt you, and it hurts so good. So it's like, really pay attention to what you listen to and what books you're reading. I know in the United
Exactly.
States right now, there's a lot of riots going on, and I'm like, or the coronavirus. If it's not making you feel good to listen to all the stuff about the coronavirus, don't do it, because there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of beliefs that are being supported that are not the beliefs that will get you to a different place. So I say, be very careful. I want to talk to Clementine and Krasimir. I want to be talking to the people in the morning community, because they are all about the things that I want to manifest in my life.
We have another question. Do we have time, my love?
Okay, we don't have much time, but yes, let's answer the question.
So one person is asking, if I have a drink every night that make me relaxed after the long, heavy day, can we say this is something I have to work on to get rid of?
So it's really up to you. You have to decide if this is something that is that you want to not do anymore, or or if you feel like this is a benefit to you. Everything in moderation. We're not saying don't drink, or don't do this or don't do that. You're your own boss. So I say to everybody, if it's habitual and you have to have it every night and you can't not go to bed without a drink, I I'd say maybe there's something for you to look at. Maybe there's new ways that you can find to relax. Maybe you can do meditation, mindfulness. Maybe you can read a book. Maybe you can talk to a friend. So, but having a drink, is that necessarily something that one needs to change? It's all about the way you feel about it. It's all about the way it lives inside. If you feel good with it and it's a harmonious activity that you do, I don't know that I think you need to change it. If you don't feel good about it, it's that's something else. So, today is all about taking a look at, does it work for me? How do I feel about it? If I get up early in the morning and I meditate and I read my spiritual materials, I feel great. If I get up in the morning and I, watch Netflix for 15 minutes or half hour, I don't feel so great. So there's my information. It's like it says to me, okay, getting up, meditating, reading your spiritual materials, that's for me. For other people, maybe doing the dishes and watching Netflix, that's for them. So you're your barometer, and you get to decide what works for you. If you have more questions about it, put it in the chat. I will do my best to get to all the questions. And again, this is an awareness. This is for you to understand. We all have those parts of the brain. It's completely normal for us to have those feelings and beliefs that don't support us. They got created at some point. You're responsible for keeping them there or now having an opportunity to change it. And you decide what you want to keep and what you want to change. And we're going to give you the tools that will help you to change the beliefs that you want to change and put the goals in the place that you want to achieve.
Thank you, Barbara.
My love, you want to move to gratitude?
Yes. So let's do together the gratitude. Barbara, you will stay with us?
Yes, please.
Okay. So as usual, you can, for those who don't know, we usually place our hands onto our heart. And we take 3 deep breathing, and it's go like 5 seconds to inhale, 5 seconds to hold on, and then 5 seconds to exhale. Okay, so we'll do it together now. Hold and exhale. Again. And last one. I am so thankful and grateful for the smile of my children, their joy, because they give me so much happiness. I'm so thankful and grateful for my husband, for his care, for his support. I'm so thankful and grateful for this morning community because it keeps me on the track and I keep working on myself, growing and expanding. I'm so thankful and grateful for the internet because we can be connected and we can share to each other. I'm so thankful and grateful for my home, for the space, for the light, because I feel comfortable, I feel cozy, I feel relaxed.
I'm so thankful and grateful for my morning walk with my friend from which I met her in Inside. And we had a lovely chat. I'm so thankful and grateful for my breakfast. And I'm so thankful and grateful for my day today because for the first time we're going to be free from the baby. So we're going to have our free time. So thankful and grateful for all the coaches which they contribute in this morning community. I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you which you decide to come and to participate with us and to be together in all this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you to all of you, and thank you, Barbara, again. And we wish you a beautiful day, full of achievements and grateful experience, joy, smile. And we see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Have a great day. Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.